Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today we're going over a 2005 crime thriller film titled Revolver. Spoilers ahead, you've been warned. After spending 7 long years in prison, Cockney gambler Jake Green is finally released. 2 years later, Jake and his brother Billy visit a prestigious casino in town, seeking to reclaim the money they're owed by the powerful crime boss and casino owner, Dorothy Machu. Despite the concerns of his head of security, Paul Machu lets Jake join the private gambling game. Jake hesitates to take the elevator up due to his claustrophobia, but when the bodyguards mention it's 20 floors by stairs, he caves in and takes the elevator while battling a panic attack. At the table, Jake places a bet on a coin toss and deliberately loses. This is all part of his setup. He manipulates Machu into betting on the same game, and this time Jake wins, taking a lot of money. He and Billy make a quick exit, bags of cash in hand. On their way out, they're approached by a mysterious man named Zach, who hands Jake a card and warns they're in danger. Jake chooses the stairs this time, but collapses before taking a step. The card reads, "Take the elevator." Jake is rushed to the hospital. Meanwhile, Macha is uneasy. Jake's unexpected appearance and recent behavior, especially after the sister-in-law incident, suggest deeper revenge is in play. Fearing Jake's intentions, Machu instructs Paul to hire the best hitman available to eliminate him. At the hospital, doctors find nothing unusual in the initial tests and send Jake home to rest until further blood results come in. Jake heads to his place, while Billy returns to his home. Jake brings bodyguards for safety, but they're all shot dead on arrival. Jake survives only because he bends over to pick up a card on the floor that says, "Pick this up." The bullet misses him. He tries to flee in his car, but the driver is gunned down too. Luckily, Zach reappears and rescues Jake just in time. The hitman, named Sorter, is confused. He never misses. He suspects someone warned Jake. When Macha scolds him, Sorter lies and claims he had a bad feeling and pulled back. Zach takes Jake to meet his partner, Avi, who somehow has Jake's medical records. The diagnosis? Jake has a rare blood disorder that will kill him in 3 days. Zach and Avi offer him protection under 2 strict terms. Jake must give them all his money and agree to do whatever they ask, no exceptions. They give him 3 hours to decide. Jake, skeptical, leaves without responding. He visits the hospital again and receives the same diagnosis. Still convinced it's a setup, he visits his private doctor for a second opinion. The result is identical. Furious, he threatens the doctor at gunpoint to ensure he's not being paid off. Realizing he has no choice, Jake accepts the deal, retrieves his money, and returns to Avi and Zach. They drive around as Avi explains their business. They're loan sharks, and they'll be using Jake's money to fund operations. At their first stop, Avi insists Jake open up about his past with Machu. Jake tells the story of how he got involved with 3 of Macha's most incompetent goons, the 3 Eddies. Before a big game, they lost their card guy and recruited Jake, knowing he was talented. Jake wanted to refuse, but they threatened Billy's family, forcing him to comply. During the game, other players insulted Jake's mother. He snapped, pulled a gun, and a chaotic shootout followed. The lights went out, the cash vanished, and Jake's name got dropped to the police. To keep him silent, the Eddies threatened his niece. His sister-in-law intervened and was killed in the process. Jake never revealed Macha's name to the authorities and ended up in jail for 7 years. While Jake was imprisoned, Macha got rid of the Eddies, literally turning them into concrete for upsetting him. After visiting more clients, Zach sends Jake to a motel to stay hidden. At the same time, Machu meets with the mysterious Lily Walker, the advisor of feared crime lord Sam Gold, a man considered the top figure in the underworld. Lily agrees to a drug deal but reminds Macha that Gold hates attention and offers no second chances. Later, while playing chess, Avi asks Jake about his prison time. Jake explains he had a choice, 14 years of normal time or 7 years of solitary, and he chose the latter. His cell was between 2 others, one occupied by a chess master, the other a conman. They never spoke directly but passed messages through library books, teaching Jake a formula to win any game. The 2 neighbors were planning a prison break and said they'd bring Jake along. But when they escaped, they vanished, taking Jake's money and leaving only a note. You can only get smarter by playing a smarter opponent. Using their formula, Jake began beating casinos and getting rich. Now working for Zach and Avi, Jake keeps delivering money to clients. He's told to threaten non-payers, but he can't bring himself to harm innocent people. Meanwhile, Zach and Avi break into a wall using a truck to pull it down, stealing a safe containing the powder Macho had promised Lily. When Macho hears about the theft, he's furious and sends Paul to handle it. Paul negotiates with rival kingpin Lord John, who agrees to sell the powder at a ridiculous price. Jake and the team go to the hotel where the transaction is happening. They cut a hole in the wall, release sleeping gas into the adjacent room, knock everyone out, and steal both the powder and the cash. They leave evidence to frame Macho for robbing John and vice versa. Jake later receives a call from Billy, who warns him about Zach and Avi. According to the word on the street, even gold avoids them. Billy urges Jake to get away, but Jake ignores him and carries on. He's soon instructed to kill a terrified client. Unable to do it, Jake instead turns the gun on Avi, only to discover it's not loaded. Avi knocks him out. Jake wakes up back at the motel. Avi calls, congratulating him for surviving day 3 and telling him to get another checkup. Jake meets with his niece and Billy, who leaves him a gun just in case. The doctor confirms that Jake's test results were wrong. He's completely healthy. Jake tries calling Avi but gets vague answers. Meanwhile, Paul learns Jake is connected to all the recent disruptions and informs Macho. Enraged, Macho sends his men to kill Jake. Avi and Zach, however, warn him just in time that Macho's goons are waiting in his motel room. Jake flees. In the chaos, one thug accidentally kills himself, and others wrongly believe Jake was responsible. Jake visits Avi and Zach's office. They confront him, saying he still hasn't told the full story. The 3 Eddies, also called the Yetis, waited for Jake when he got out of prison, intending to kill him for getting them fired. Jake offered them a deal. He'd give them 3% of the money they loaned him each month. Eventually, all 3 joined in, now asking for 4%. Jake paid each using another's cut, essentially a con game. The Yetis eventually ran out of money and borrowed from Macho, who then grew curious about this mystery moneymaker. After building wealth through the formula, Jake went on vacation with Billy and his niece. That's when Macho killed the Yetis for failing to repay him. At a fancy restaurant, Macho dines when one of John's lovers, disguised as a waitress, tries to kill him. Sorter, recognizing her, shoots her and heads outside to stop her driver. His aim is off, and although he wounds her, she manages to shoot off Macho's finger before dying. Sorter is then sent to eliminate Lord John and his gang. Meanwhile, Jake plays rooftop golf with Avi and Zach. They explain that gold doesn't exist. He's just a symbol of greed and ego. His power only works on people who believe in him. To win, Jake must change the rules of who and what he lets control him. Determined to take control, Jake donates all his money, sneaks into Macho's room, and faces his ego, represented by voices in his head. He apologizes to Macho, surrenders to him as the superior boss, and reveals the donation made in his name. To conquer his fear, Jake takes the elevator, which stops on the 13th floor. While stuck, Jake has a profound internal monologue, symbolizing the defeat of his ego. He exits a changed man. Macho, waiting at the bottom with a gun, is baffled when Jake walks past him without fear. The absence of fear drives Macho into emotional collapse. The next morning, Paul brings Macho several newspapers praising his charitable donation. Jake wasn't lying, but Macho's joy is short-lived. Paul tells him Jake also has the powder and has been playing him all along. Paul, Sorter, and the others go to Billy's house. Realizing he's been betrayed by one of his guards, Billy hides his daughter in a cupboard. They beat him, but he insists he doesn't know where Jake or the powder are. When they force the little girl out, Sorter breaks. Refusing to harm a child, he turns on the others and kills them one by one, but is mortally wounded in the process. Macho receives a wreath from Lily, a sign that gold is done with him. She declares Macho's time is up, no more chances. Panicked, Macho begins to spiral. Zack and Avi take Jake and the powder to the casino. While playing chess, Avi finally beats Jake and confesses the final twist. He and Zack were the ones in the prison cells next to Jake. They tried to take him during the prison break, but he wasn't ready. It's implied they were just figments of Jake's mind, tools to guide him toward inner freedom. Before Jake can fully digest the truth, Matcha's guards come for him. Matcha now holds Jake's niece at gunpoint. Jake calmly places the bags of powder on the floor and tells the girl everything will be okay. Matcha, outraged by Jake's lack of fear, breaks down. The voices in his head scream that Jake must already be dead if he can't be frightened, and Matcha shoots himself. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more movie recaps like this.